Hi, my name is Steve Miller, and I am on the ballot to be elected mayor of Bridgeport, but you have to write in my name, Steve Miller, to vote for me. I just watched Joe Ganim on Channel 3 be interviewed by Dennis House, and I want to mention a couple of things about what Joe Ganim said. I wrote this book after I was arrested for the same charge Joe Ganim served 9 years, extortion. And I was sentenced to 9 years. However, to convict me, they actually, the judge in this case, Judge Nevis, federal case, put a juror in the jury pool named Kent Moeller, whose wife, Maggie Moeller, worked for my brother-in-law, his law firm, Conan Wolfe. So she has a financial interest in my case, and unfortunately, it was to be against me. Therefore, the fact that they would stick Kent Moeller into the jury, and he became the jury foreman, is not a fair trial, and therefore the conviction isn't worth a penny. I just want you to know that from the jump. Now, I have had a large experience with the criminal justice system, not only in Bridgeport, but the federal system. And I want to speak about that for a minute because at this very moment, I am in a criminal case. I'm a defendant that started at the East End Baptist Tabernacle. The pastor of that church, Charles Stallworth, who is also a state representative here in Connecticut, paid this cop named Reed, R-E-I-D, to come to the church that day and arrest me. I had been there the week before. I went to the service. Everybody was friendly. I left after the service, not before the service ended, like somebody claimed, another lie. And then I went back there just to say hello to Charles Stallworth concerning my interest in these cop shootings of black people, because I have a much better strategy than these protests, which wind up arresting a large number of black people each time, if they don't actually have a riot like they did in Baltimore and destroy property of black owners and black businesses and businesses that employ black people. That is a very stupid method of counteracting this epidemic of cops not only murdering black people, but they all get off. They're covered up by the system. Now, in my case right now, after I was arrested at the church, the same cop, Reed, R-E-I-D, arrested me at Stop and Shop, where 3 cops jumped me. And that would have been on the surveillance film if they hadn't destroyed the surveillance film. I just want you to kind of get the knowledge that I have concerning this criminal justice system and how it works, regardless of even, no matter what they know. No, I didn't go to the church to commit a crime, and I definitely didn't go to Stop and Shop to commit another crime. I went there to buy milk, ribs, and something to put on a bagel. Now, let me get back to Joe Ganim. He says, well, we're going to get his jobs here. but he doesn't tell anybody how that's actually going to happen. What is he going to do to get the jobs here? Now, the reason I'm holding up this book is because I hope everybody in Bridgeport would read this book and learn that I have a very extensive knowledge of the securities industry and have worked in the securities industry for a very long time. And I am going to bring in 2 companies into Bridgeport, if you will elect me, that will have huge job opportunities. But more important, because everybody isn't going to work for these 2 companies. One of them is Gotham Greens, and the other one is HYGS. That is the most important company in the entire world. Why is that? Because they make hydrogen fuel cells, and they also create the hydrogen from water, H2O, not from natural gas. You probably don't know that we already have the largest hydrogen fuel cell in the United States in Bridgeport on Railroad Avenue. And it generates the power from hydrogen for 15,000 homes. In other words, it's not a toy. You never hear anybody, any politician, including Bernie Sanders, who is very pro climate change, ever mention hydrogen fuel cells, which happens to be the only remedy for climate change. Nothing else. Coal, clean coal, how absurd is that? Oil, nuclear power, which they say is, oh, that doesn't create any CO2. Really? How do you think they get the nuclear power rods for the plant? They dig up uranium to make nuclear power rods. And when they do that, they generate an enormous amount of pollution from the trucks and the other facilities that are needed to make these rods, from mining the uranium. Little teeny specks of uranium. And by the way, you need to know that the government has subsidized nuclear power plants beginning from the start, and still do, to the tune of $14 billion each year. So that money just going down the drain. In other words, these plants, they're not profitable. And consequently, there's this added amount of money on top of the money you pay for your electric power that's added by the Treasury of the United States, which theoretically we all have to pay back. Okay? So, anyway, I want you to understand, and I can't explain this whole thing unless you invite me to a facility at your church or at some other facility, or hopefully maybe at Seaside Park, where I could speak to a large number of people besides these YouTubes. This is my little TV set. And speaking of that, I'm not orange. I can't adjust the camcorder because I don't know how. I'm not knowledgeable about computers or these technological gadgets. And the guy that was gonna fix it for me isn't available at the moment, and I didn't want to wait to make this YouTube. So I will have Ann Mercer help me get this information through Facebook and other internet facilities, so that the people of Bridgeport can find out what I'm about, how we can work together, all people in Bridgeport, all black, Latino, white, Turkish, Brazilian, Portuguese, everybody that's here in this city. And and I will make you rich on hydrogenics. But in order to do that, you have to elect me mayor. There's no other way, okay? So we'll all be in this together. I will definitely come through, and we will get rich on the only remedy for climate change. And a big problem with climate change is that the media doesn't say how risky, because it's going to wipe out our entire food supply. That's about as risky as you can get. In other words, we'll all starve because of this climate change, creating droughts, creating floods, etc. So this is no joke. This needs to be the #1 problem on the list, not 9/11, which, as I said in my last YouTube, was ordered by George Bush, and I can prove that. So I'm not going to go into the details of 9/11 or how I'm going to make you rich right now on hydrogenics stock. But it won't happen if I'm not the mayor of Bridgeport. And it will happen if we all come together for our own self-benefit. Now, one more thing about the taxes, the property taxes in the city of Bridgeport that I want everybody to know. I have filed a criminal complaint with the FBI and the United States Attorney to arrest Bill Finch. Why? He took bribes from General Electric and Harvey Hubble. What's that about? The evidence, probable cause. The two buildings, the GE building on Boston Avenue and the Harvey Hubble building on State Street, were both knocked down courtesy of Bill Finch in return for the bribes he took, so that they don't have to pay tax on the property for the buildings. Now, if I'm mayor, Bill Finch is going to get locked up. But more important, then I am going to file a civil case against GE and Harvey Hubble for the taxes they beat Bridgeport on, which you people are going to have to fund. They transferred their tax to you, courtesy of Bill Finch. So, you know, you might think, well, I don't even pay taxes. I rent an apartment, and I don't even have a car. I take the bus. Oh yeah? Well, you do pay taxes. Because if you, first of all, the landlord that owns your apartment, he's taking your rent and paying the taxes with your rent. What about your job? If you work in Bridgeport, the building that the owner of the business has, he pays taxes, you see? So, is that going to help you get a raise? Of course not. You understand? So this has widespread implications that people don't really think about. But now I hope you will think about it and understand. I'm not just going to get the taxes back in this lawsuit. I'm going to get triple damages for punitive damages on GE and Harvey Hubble. Okay? And I will win that case. You could bet your boots on that one. I am also going to sue Stop and Shop and the East End Baptist Tabernacle after I finish with this criminal case. So, I just wanted you to get a little idea of how we can work together. Now, you need to spread this YouTube to everybody you know. Whether they live in Bridgeport or not, I don't care. Spread it to everybody you know. Please. Because Dennis House is very unlikely to invite me to be interviewed by him on Channel 3 News at 11 o'clock on Sunday. And the media is very unlikely to ever mention me as a candidate for the mayor of Bridgeport. We'll see. We'll see if they mention me or not. And thank you for listening. Have a great day. I'm going to watch some football, and I will make some more YouTubes to give you more information. And I'm hoping that we can organize some meetings. They could be at Seaside Park, be an excellent facility for everybody to come and hear me speak and ask me questions. And I'll answer the questions all day long. All day long. You just ask me about how I'm going to make everybody, including me, rich buying hydrogenic stock and having a good facility to work at. Thank you very much.